So, you've finally figured out what your color season is, whether with professional help or through self-diagnosis. But what happens if you're not in love with your color palette? Obviously, our color season is meant to create harmony with our own coloring, and once we know what our best colors are, it's sort of difficult to unsee the effects that our worst colors can have on our appearance. But let's say you've always been drawn to bright and vibrant colors all your life, but you've been typed as a soft season, and colors that are the complete opposite of what you normally like are supposedly your best colors. So what do we do in this case? How do we overcome this challenge? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about exactly that and how we can romanticize our color season and our best colors so that even if we're not completely head over heels about our color analysis results, we can still find ways to utilize colors to our best advantage. So make sure to stay tuned till the end if you want to learn more. Welcome back or welcome. We're finally on our last episode of the color analysis deep dive series, and I wanted to end the series with this particular topic of what happens when our color season is not what we expected or what we had hoped for. In my opinion, this is likely a less frequent occurrence because personally, I'm a firm believer that we know ourselves the best, and most of us have an inherent understanding of what looks good versus what looks bad on ourselves, whether or not we have an awareness of it. We might not always have the ability to tell the difference between good versus best, but in the least, I think that most of us know how to avoid our worst colors or styles. So in that sense, I think the reason why we're so interested in finding our best colors or finding our best silhouettes is not because we have zero idea about what we're doing, but because we want to go from having a good style to having a great style. In this day and age, it's probably more difficult to actually be completely clueless about our own styles. I mean, we have so many resources that are available at our fingertips that we can easily narrow down our preferences by browsing through trends or looking at how other people are dressing. And with some trial and error, that process will allow us to weed out the styles or colors that are not working for us, and it'll eventually get us to feeling okay about our sense of style. But what we're seeking is something deeper than that, right? What we're looking for in defining our personal style, whether through finding our best colors or understanding our body types or knowing the inherent impression that our faces give off, all of these are tools that we believe will make us feel less insecure and less unsure about our choices because they provide an objective answer. On top of wanting to find a style that feels authentic to us internally, we also want the additional validation and certainty through an objective lens like color analysis. So I think that when it comes to finding our best colors, like I said, I believe that a lot of us already have that inherent understanding and awareness of what looks good or bad. But if we feel a sense of disconnect with our color season, that is likely a result of a conflict between how we see ourselves or how we want to portray ourselves versus how we are seen through an objective lens. Now, there really isn't a single right answer as to what the right approach should be in this case. Should we completely disregard color analysis altogether and wear what makes us feel happy and fulfilled? Or should we listen to the external feedback and try to merge that with our internal perspective of how we see ourselves and what we think our best colors are? I think that we've seen great examples of both scenarios executed extremely well. You could be the type that says, screw color analysis, I'm just gonna wear what I want. And if you're somebody who already has a strong sense of style, or if you're someone that feels a strong need to incorporate a wide variety of colors into your style, what others objectively see as your best colors probably doesn't bother you all that much. Emmanuel Alt and Rihanna are both really great examples of this case. With Emmanuel Alt, she is somebody that's really well known for her signature style, which almost always incorporates black. I mean, one of her famous quotes is, "I'll stop wearing black when they invent a darker color." So even if we don't know what her actual color season is, and maybe black is one of her best colors, who knows, but that's not something that she or anyone else is worried about. Similarly with Rihanna, a lot of people agree that she is a soft summer, but with her overall style being quite bold and exaggerated, it's quite difficult to find her wearing only the colors from the soft summer palette. So when you've already developed your signature style where you're so accustomed to wearing certain colors all the time, or if you just like having fun with a wide variety of styles and colors in general, I honestly think that if you're this type of person, you don't really need color analysis. You've already got a sense of style that brings joy and fulfillment to you, and if you're this type of person, you might feel that color analysis just gets in the way of how you express yourself. On the other hand, examples like Dakota Johnson is a great case of someone who's embraced her color season over the years, and she looks phenomenal. Not that she only sticks to colors within her color season, but over the years, I think we've really seen her style evolve from being more experimental to becoming more refined time, and the colors that she utilizes are much more in harmony with her. So like I said, I don't think that there's a right answer of which approach we should be taking if we're not completely happy with our color season. But I do think that having an intentional awareness of how we use colors is still important. Throughout this whole deep dive series, we've talked a lot about the psychological effects that certain colors or characteristics or seasons can have. And I've described these emotional and characteristic attributes that we mentally associate to certain colors or color groups in a way that can be used as clues in understanding how those attributes complement our inherent impression. So it's kind of a retroactive approach of trying to match ourselves or our style to the attributes associated with colors and seasons. And I think this approach is definitely helpful in understanding what kind of image our appearance naturally portrays and how colors can enhance that image. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that we are the ones wearing these colors, not the other way around. So in utilizing colors found in our season, we are the ones making the decision on what the overall mood of the outfit is going to be and what type of image or message that we want to portray and express through our choices. And I think it's important to have this awareness around what our intention is in utilizing certain colors in an outfit. So it's about asking the question, apart from the specific color belonging to my color season and creating harmony with me, what is it that I'm trying to express or convey through the colors in my outfits? I think this is where the real difference can be between having good style versus having great style. If we go back to Emmanuelle Alt, for example, like I said, nobody cares about what her color season is and whether or not she's wearing her best colors that complement her features. But there are lots of women, a lot of my clients and myself included, that look up to her as a style icon because she's so sure and confident about her style. She doesn't care if an all-black outfit makes her skin look dull or if her dark circles are enhanced more by wearing black. Instead, she channels the sophisticated, chic, and timeless energy of the black and perhaps even the unapproachability of it to an extent. But she just embraces that energy so completely that it's part of our brand and no one ever questions whether the color brings out any negative associations that we typically make with the color black. I think a similar logic applies to Rihanna as well. Sure, her color season may be soft summer, but the Rihanna that we know and love embraces bold and exaggerated styles so well. And her style is such a big part of her whole persona that it's difficult to disassociate her from her style. And I think one of the biggest reasons why we love Rihanna so much is because of her style and the confidence that she brings with her style. Now, if we look back at Rihanna's style since her debut, I was actually able to find more photos of her wearing colors within the soft summer palette really early on in her career. But if any of you remember, I feel like Rihanna's career really took off with her Good Gone Girl Bad album, and she really embraced that dark feminine energy with the black bob and the dark outfits. And I think that's also when the boldness of her style really took off as well, and she never looked back since then. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because in terms of Kitchener essences, my understanding is that Rihanna is pretty complex because she has multiple essences, with dramatic being one of them and a relatively small portion of her overall essence combination. But I think she's a really good example of how accentuating that relatively small portion of the overall essence can actually create a very interesting and memorable look. Not that soft summers can't have dramatic as one of their essences, but the usual images or attributes we typically associate with soft colors, as we've talked about in the previous light and soft seasons video, are elegance, gracefulness, and serenity. And Rihanna wearing soft summer colors definitely enhances the softer side of her essences, and the dramatic essence in her becomes a lot more subdued as opposed to when she wears darker and bolder colors. I mean, obviously the style of the outfits themselves also have a part to play, but the point is, enhancing that dramatic side of her creates a really powerful image, and it creates a really interesting juxtaposition against some of her softer essences. So again, I think this is a perfect example of how in the end, it's about how the person wears and carries the colors and what their intentions are in choosing the colors that they wear, far more so than just wearing colors that are found in our color season without truly understanding how those colors are working for our overall image. I think Anya Taylor-Joy Taylor-Joy and Tilda Swinton are also really great examples of using colors outside of their color seasons to enhance their essences. They both have strong ethereal essence in them, and they're not really concerned about wearing colors within their seasons. They actually tend to wear colors that make them look more pale, but as a result of that, their looks become more striking and unique in a way that enhances that ethereal, otherworldly essence. So these are also some great examples of how we can still create a very cohesive look that can really make us shine and stand out by purposefully wearing colors that don't harmonize with us perfectly. At this point, maybe some of you are wondering, then why did we go through all these seasons and dominant traits in depth if what you're saying is that color analysis doesn't matter at the end of the day? Well, I do still think that knowing our best colors is definitely a helpful tool in navigating through the world of finding our personal and signature style. But the point I'm trying to drive is that finding our best colors is not the end-all be-all, and what matters far more is how we utilize colors, whether they're in or outside of our color season. And there's a difference between knowing that certain colors don't harmonize with me, but I'm still wearing them intentionally to create a certain effect or evoke certain emotions, versus not having a clue about what my best colors are or how colors work in favor of my intentions. And having the actual knowledge around different characteristics of colors and their effects on our appearance can still help us in choosing the right type of color that might be more suitable. For example, let's say I'm a true autumn. I'm not actually, but let's just say that I am. And I still want to wear black because I love the sophistication and the timelessness of the color. Instead of saying, well, I'm a true autumn, so I can't wear black, point blank period, I could be looking at the different types of blacks when I'm shopping and look for the closest type that I can tolerate. And like we talked about in the previous video on choosing neutrals, there are also some ways I can use colors outside of my season, but still maintain that level of warmth in the overall mood of the outfit that I need as an autumn. So what I'm trying to explain is that in the end, what matters the most is our understanding and our interpretation of colors, and knowing how the attributes associated with these colors can enhance the image that we want to portray through our style and our choices. Another thing to remember is that colors always have both positive and negative associations linked to them. And when we see a person wearing a certain color, the reason why we make more positive associations than negative ones is because of that person. We make more positive associations to certain colors because the positive attributes match the impression of the person wearing the color. So let's say you're typed as one of the light seasons, but you don't like that feeling of the innocence, purity, and the delicate energy that the colors in your palette are usually associated with. Remember that those positive associations to the colors are only made because you are the one wearing those colors. So in the end, the colors we wear can only shine because we are the ones wearing those colors, so we're the ones that have the ability to evoke those positive emotions associated with the colors. And I think that's a really good way to romanticize our color palette if we're unhappy with our color season for whatever reason. On my videos, I always see comments that say something like, oh, I love these colors or these patterns, but they don't love me back. And I think a good way to look at it is if you are really in love with deep colors, for example, but you're in a light season and you're envious of people who can wear those deep colors well because the colors look so sophisticated on them while they look so heavy on you, that person might be thinking the same thing about the lightness and the delicate image of the colors in your palette. So just like how our strengths and weaknesses are all different from each other and they're what makes us who we are, so are our color palettes and seasons, and one is never better than another, they're just different, just like how we're all different. And if you've gone through a similar experience, I hope that this video gives you a chance to really think about what your unique beauty is that can become more highlighted with wearing different colors. I'll be honest with you, this was a really challenging series to create. I've struggled so much with scripting these videos every week, and I spent a lot more time on research than I had anticipated. But it was also a great chance for me to gain more in-depth knowledge about color analysis, so I'm really happy about that. I thought that I had a pretty good grasp on it, but it just proves that the learning never stops. I also realized that creating this series became an opportunity for me to really think about what wearing colors means for me. Before I started the series, I honestly thought that I pretty much had my my mind made up about what kind of colors I'll be adding into my wardrobe, knowing what my best colors are. But this deep dive series actually made me think about ways to step outside of my own comfort zone and exploring colors and bringing more creativity to my wardrobe and style. So overall, it was a very difficult but rewarding process, and I hope that you were able to learn as much from the series as I did. If I can just leave one last note on the conclusion of this whole series, is that at the end of the day, finding our best colors and utilizing them is such a small part of finding our personal style. And what really counts in developing our own style is the awareness, both introspective and extrospective, that we bring to our fashion and the choices that we make every day. I hope you found the video and the series helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, stay unique and stay gorgeous.